Right now, minus 50 degrees Celsius is about to hit parts of Canada tonight. And if you live anywhere between Halifax and Yellowknife, what happens in the next 12 hours could be the most dangerous weather event of this entire winter. But here's the thing most forecasts will not tell you. There is one city in Canada sitting at plus 7 degrees tonight while the rest of the country freezes. Stick around because at the 5-minute mark, I am going to reveal exactly when this Arctic blast peaks in your city, hour by hour, so you know precisely when to stay inside. Before we go any further, drop a comment right now with the name of your city. I read every single one and I will personally reply with a forecast update specific to your area. Do it now before you forget. All right, here is what is happening above our heads right now, and this is where it gets shocking. Environment and Climate Change Canada has confirmed a sudden stratospheric warming event. That is a fancy way of saying the polar vortex, that massive spinning dome of Arctic air that normally stays locked up near the North Pole, is about to split apart. When that happens, and forecasters say it is looking increasingly certain by mid-February, walls of Arctic air get shoved straight south into Canada with more force and more frequency than anything we have seen so far this winter. And here is the twist nobody is talking about. La Nina, the tropical climate pattern that would normally push back against this Arctic invasion, is fading away. It is stepping aside. That means there is absolutely nothing from the tropics to hold this cold air back. The polar vortex is running the show now, and Canada is directly in its crosshairs. Now, I promised you city-by-city breakdowns with exact timing, and I always deliver. But do not skip ahead because there is a critical safety update at the 3-minute mark that could genuinely save someone's life tonight on the prairies. Let us start in the east and work our way across. Toronto, Canada. As big a city is sitting at minus 2 degrees Celsius right now. That sounds manageable, right? Here is the number that matters. By sunrise Thursday morning, the temperature drops to minus 6 to minus 8. Factor in the northwest wind blowing off the Great Lakes, and your skin feels minus 10 to minus 13. That is instant toque and mitts territory. There is a 25% chance of flurries overnight, which does not sound like much until you realize that bridges and overpasses on the 401 and the Gardiner Expressway will ice over after midnight when temperatures bottom out. Anyone driving late tonight, slow down, leave extra space, and check those winter tires. But here is what caught my attention. Thursday's daytime high in Toronto only reaches minus 4. That is 4 degrees colder than today. That right there is the Arctic air mass arriving at your doorstep. This is just the beginning. Now Montreal. And folks, this is where things get serious right now. Not tomorrow, not this weekend, right now. Montreal is buried under falling snow as we speak. The temperature is minus 7, heavy gray clouds have locked in overhead, and the flakes are coming down across the entire city. Snow is settling on the rooftops of Old Montreal, dusting the cobblestones, piling up on the shoulders of anyone brave enough to still be out on Rue Sainte-Catherine. Here is the timeline for Montreal. The snow is gradually tapering off through the night. Thursday's chance drops to 25% with a high of minus 3. But tonight, overnight lows plunge to minus 10 to minus 12. With wind chill, it feels like minus 15 to minus 18 on exposed skin. That is frostbite territory. I need Montrealers to hear this clearly. Cover your ears, your nose, your fingers, and your toes. Those are the first to go numb and the most vulnerable. Side streets will not see a plow until morning, so if you must go out, wear boots with serious grip. Ottawa, our nation's capital, one of the coldest capitals on the entire planet. And tonight it is proving exactly why. Minus 8 right now, completely overcast, and here is the number that should stop you cold, no pun intended. Overnight lows are expected to hit minus 12 to minus 15. Wind chill pushes the feels like temperature to minus 20 or lower. At that level, exposed skin develops frostbite in 10 to 15 minutes. That is not a scare tactic. That is Environment Canada science. Thursday's high in Ottawa only reaches minus 6. The trend is clearly going one direction, and that is down. Now, if you have been waiting for the perfect Rideau Canal skateway conditions, the ice should be in fantastic shape. But tonight, enjoy it from beside the fireplace. Wait for daytime hours, bundle up properly, and yes, grab a beaver tail while you are at it. Atlantic Canada. Halifax is sitting between minus 3 and minus 5 tonight with strong onshore winds carrying moisture off the Atlantic. That means the risk of freezing rain and black ice, which is the single most dangerous winter driving condition in the Maritimes. Invisible ice on road surfaces. Drivers, be extremely cautious tonight. Over in St. John, Newfoundland, the easternmost city on the entire North American continent, a stiff northeast wind is blowing straight off the North Atlantic. Sub-zero temperatures combined with that relentless ocean wind create conditions that locals cheerfully describe as just another winter night. If you know, you know. Do not skip the next section. This is the critical safety information I promised you, and it is specifically for everyone on the prairies. Winnipeg, they do not call it Winterpeg for nothing. Tonight, the temperature has already dropped to -15 to -18, and it is still falling. Overnight lows will hit -22 to -25. But the wind chill number is the one that matters most. On the open prairies, where there is absolutely nothing to block the wind across hundreds of kilometers of flatland, the feels-like temperature reaches -30 to -35. That is the threshold for Environment Canada extreme cold warnings. At -30 wind chill, frostbite develops in 10 to 15 minutes on exposed skin. At -35, that window shrinks to under 10 minutes. If you are in Winnipeg tonight, stay indoors. If you absolutely must go outside, cover every single centimeter of skin, balaclava over your face, insulated mitts with liners, thermal boots. All of it is mandatory, not optional. Here is the beautiful contradiction of prairie winter, though. The skies over Winnipeg tonight are crystal clear. Arctic air is so dry there is barely any moisture to form clouds. Millions of stars, sharp and brilliant across that enormous prairie sky. But that same lack of cloud cover means temperatures keep dropping all night long. The most stunning skies come on the coldest nights, and you cannot stand outside long enough to enjoy them. Regina and Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. -12 to -15 in Regina tonight. -15 to -18 in Saskatoon. Saskatchewan is the flattest province in the country, and the wind has nothing to break its stride. Wind chill in both cities reaches -25 to -30. The pattern is the same as Winnipeg. Clear skies, dangerous cold, and that same beautiful, cruel trade-off. Now here is where I deliver on my promise. The exact timing of when this Arctic blast peaks in your region. Eastern Canada, Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Halifax. The cold air is arriving now and intensifies through Thursday. Peak cold hits Friday into Saturday, when overnight lows could drop an additional 5 to 8 degrees below what you are feeling tonight. The worst window is Friday night through Saturday morning. The prairies, Winnipeg, Regina, Saskatoon, Edmonton. You are already in the thick of it. Tonight through Thursday night is the peak. The most dangerous 12-hour window is from midnight tonight through noon tomorrow. After that, temperatures slowly begin to moderate, but we are talking about going from -35 wind chill to maybe -25. That is still brutal. Northern Canada, Yellowknife, Whitehorse. The deep cold has been here for days, and it is not leaving anytime soon. Expect -28 to -40 in Yellowknife through at least the weekend, with wind chills touching -45 to -50. At those numbers, boiling water thrown into the air freezes before it hits the ground. Your phone battery dies in minutes. Your car engine will not start without a block heater plugged in all night. Breathing makes your lungs tighten and your eyelashes frost over the instant you step outside. But Yellowknife has its reward. Clear skies plus its location directly beneath the auroral oval make it one of the best places on Earth to see the northern lights. If solar activity cooperates tonight, ribbons of green, purple, and pink could dance across the sky. That natural light show is the payoff for enduring cold that only the toughest among us are willing to face. Whitehorse in the Yukon is running -20 to -25 with thin cloud cover. Cold air pools in the river valley, creating temperature inversions where the mountaintops are actually warmer than the valley floor. Another prime Northern Lights location if you are brave enough to stand outside. Now let me take you to the part of Canada that feels like a completely different country tonight. Calgary. And this might be the biggest surprise of this entire forecast. The temperature in Calgary right now is -1. Today, S-high reached +5 degrees Celsius. That is 8 to 10 degrees above the historical average for mid-February. While most of Canada shivers, Calgary is practically having patio weather. The reason is two words every Calgarian knows and loves: Chinook winds. A warm, dry air mass sweeping over the Rockies can jack temperatures up by 15 to 20 degrees in just a few hours. Snow chance tonight is a mere 5%. Thursday could reach +8. But here is the plot twist Calgary does not want to hear. This warmth is temporary. When that polar vortex splits by mid-February, an Arctic blast could come roaring down the eastern slopes of the Rockies within a week. It could be -20 by next Wednesday. Enjoy the Chinook while it lasts, but do not put the parka away. Edmonton, 300 kilometers north of Calgary, is not getting the Chinook benefit. -8 to -12 tonight, dropping to -15 to -18. Edmonton is the most northerly major city in Canada besides Yellowknife, which means shorter days, longer nights, and more hours for temperatures to plummet. And finally, Vancouver, 7 degrees above zero. Positive, not negative. Clear skies, which is genuinely rare for a city famous for its rain. You can step outside tonight in a light jacket and feel perfectly comfortable. Compare that to -25 in Winnipeg or -40 in Yellowknife. Same country, same night. It almost seems like a different hemisphere. Vancouver's secret is geography. The Pacific coast is shielded from Arctic air by the massive wall of the Rocky Mountains and warmed by the North Pacific Current. Winter temperatures here rarely drop below freezing, and snow is a genuine novelty. But there is a twist for the weekend. Saturday's forecast includes a 20% chance of snow in Vancouver. If that happens, it will make national news because Vancouver's experience with winter driving is, well, let us just say it is not Winnipeg. Victoria on Vancouver Island is even milder, 6 to 8 degrees with a gentle sea breeze. This is the city where cherry blossoms sometimes bloom in mid-February. Tonight, Victoria is quietly reminding the nation that Canada is vast enough to contain both an Arctic deep freeze and an early taste of spring on the very same evening. Let me bring it all together. 3 distinct weather zones across Canada tonight. Zone 1, Eastern Canada, -3 to -15, cloudy, 20 to 25% chance of snow. Arctic air pushing south. Getting colder through the weekend. Zone 2, the prairies, the most dangerous region tonight. -20 to -25 overnight. Wind chills hitting -30 to -35. Extreme cold warnings likely in effect. Peak danger is midnight tonight through noon tomorrow. Zone 3, the Pacific West Coast, +5 to 8 degrees. Clear skies, the only place in Canada where you do not need heavy winter gear tonight. And above it all, northern Canada, -25 to -40, a category all its own. Safety reminders. Prairies in the north, stay indoors. If you must go out, cover all exposed skin, limit time outside to under 10 minutes, and tell someone where you are going. Check your furnace. Make sure your pipes will not freeze. Have candles, flashlights, and warm blankets ready in case of a power outage. And please check on your neighbors, especially anyone elderly or living alone. Eastern Canada, drive carefully tonight. Bridges and overpasses freeze first. Keep an emergency kit in your vehicle with blankets, a flashlight, snacks, and water. Montreal, clear your walkway early tomorrow before the snow packs into solid ice. Vancouver and Victoria, enjoy this beautiful evening, but watch the weekend forecast. Rain is coming back, and that possible Saturday snow could catch people off guard. If you or someone you know needs a warm place to shelter tonight, please reach out to your local community center or emergency services. No one should face a night like this alone. We look out for each other. That is what Canadians do. Now here is what is coming next, and this is important. That polar vortex split I mentioned is forecast to fully take hold by this weekend. When it does, a second wave of Arctic air, potentially even colder than what we are seeing tonight, could sweep across the entire country. I am tracking it closely and will have a full breakdown in the next video with updated timing for every major city. You do not want to miss that one. Drop your city name in the comments right now so I can make sure your area is covered. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next update, and share this with anyone you know in Canada tonight, because the information in this forecast could keep someone safe. Stay warm.